At 6:18 in the morning, I was sitting alone in my car, staring at the glass building I had walked into for more than a decade. The sun hadn't fully risen yet. The parking lot was quiet. But inside me, everything was loud. I kept replaying one sentence in my head. A sentence that shattered 11 years of loyalty. He's been promoted. Significant raise. About 120,000. I remember smiling politely when they said it. I remember nodding, as if I had expected it all along. And then I heard my own number. 15,000. That was it. $15,000 for the woman who trained him. For the woman who stayed late when he didn't understand the system. For the woman who fixed his mistakes before clients noticed. For the woman who believed that hard work always speaks louder than politics. My hands were calm. My face was calm. But something inside me quietly cracked. I wasn't angry that he succeeded. I was angry that my success had been used to erase me. 11 years earlier, he walked into the office unsure, nervous, and incomplete. I was assigned to guide him. Not just train him, shape him. I taught him how to speak in meetings. How to read between numbers. How to survive corporate pressure without breaking. When he failed, I covered. When he doubted himself, I lifted him. We weren't friends. We weren't enemies. We were a team, or at least, I believed we were. Until that day. Until I realized that while I was building him up, he was quietly building a ladder, and climbing it alone. What hurt the most wasn't the money. It was the silence. No thank you. No acknowledgement. No respect. Just a clean promotion announcement. And my name missing from the story I helped write. As I sat there at 6:18 a.m., engine still off, I asked myself a question that changed everything. How did I let someone I trained decide my worth? But what I didn't know that morning was this. That silence wasn't the end of my story. It was the moment I took control. In the days that followed, I tried to convince myself it was fine. That this was how corporate life worked. That fairness was a luxury, not a promise. But every hallway felt colder. Every meeting felt heavier. He avoided eye contact, spoke confidently now, using phrases I once taught him. He presented strategies I had written months earlier. My ideas, my frameworks, my language, spoken in his voice. That was when the truth settled in. He didn't just accept the promotion. He accepted my absence from the credit. I started noticing things I had ignored before. Emails forwarded without my name. Meetings scheduled without me. Decisions made using my work, but not my presence. At night, I would sit at my kitchen table, laptop closed, staring at nothing. Wondering if loyalty had quietly become my weakness. I questioned myself. Did I talk less? Did I trust too much? Did I mistake teamwork for protection? The pain wasn't loud. It was slow. It seeped in, day by day, until confidence started shrinking. But then something shifted. One evening, while organizing old project files, I saw it clearly. Years of documentation, processes I created, strategies with timestamps, revisions, and trails that led back to me. I realized something powerful. I didn't just train him. I built systems the company depended on. And systems don't disappear quietly. I stopped reacting emotionally. I stopped seeking validation. Instead, I started observing. I noticed where my expertise was irreplaceable. Where approvals stalled without me. Where teams waited for answers only I could give. And quietly, without announcement, I changed my approach. I stopped fixing problems that weren't assigned to me. Stopped volunteering invisible labor. Stopped saving others from consequences. When asked why something was delayed, I answered calmly. That's outside my current scope. No drama. No confrontation. Just boundaries. Weeks passed. Confusion started spreading. Deadlines slipped. Questions returned, this time, directly to me. And he noticed. One afternoon, he stood near my desk, hesitant. Can we talk later? He asked. I looked up, met his eyes, and said softly. Send me a meeting request. In that moment, I felt it. The shift. I was no longer the quiet support behind his success. I was the structure he had overlooked. And the higher he had climbed, the clearer my absence became. Until everything changed. The meeting came sooner than expected. Senior leadership wanted answers. Projects were slowing. Teams were confused. Efficiency had dropped. They asked for documentation, processes, ownership. And for the first time in years, I spoke without shrinking. I presented timelines, original designs, training logs, proof, not emotional, not dramatic, just undeniable. I didn't accuse. I didn't attack. I simply revealed. Silence filled the room, not the awkward kind, the heavy kind. That was the moment they saw what had been hidden in plain sight. He didn't lose his job. This wasn't about destruction, but roles were restructured, responsibilities were reassigned, authority was redistributed, and I was offered something unexpected. Control, not just a raise, but ownership over the systems I built. Direct influence, recognition without begging. Later that evening, as I walked out of the building, the sky was darker than usual. But I felt lighter. At 6:18 p.m., I passed the same parking lot. This time, I didn't sit in silence. I smiled, because revenge doesn't always look like fire. Sometimes, it looks like clarity. I learned something that year. That training someone doesn't mean shrinking yourself. That loyalty without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. And that power doesn't come from being louder, it comes from being undeniable. I didn't take his money. I didn't take his title. I took something far more important. My voice, my space, my control, and the next time I train someone, I'll make sure my name is written into the foundation. Because no one should ever rise by erasing the hands that lifted them. And that was the day I finally chose myself.